how to transition yourself from a 9-to-5 job to wholesaling real estate full-time. Hey guys, it's Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick. And in this video, I'm actually going to show you step by step how 18 years ago, I fired myself to pursue wholesaling real estate full-time. But before we dive in, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, keep sending you videos just like this. Let's get into it. I'm actually going to walk you through step by step what I did to transition from it wasn't even a 9-to-5 job. It was more like a 7 to 8 p.m. job. See, because I was working 70, 80 hours a week in corporate America. And a lot of you are like me. You get tired of people telling you what to do, making little, not earning what you feel that you deserve, and looking for an outlet to provide freedom for your family and financial security. So you guys want to hear about this? This video is for you. So those of you who don't know, before my wholesaling days, I actually worked for the same company for 11 years in a row. I enjoyed it. It was a management position. And I grew with the company. I love living in South Florida, and they wanted me to move across the country. And at the time, I was having kids, Zach, and I decided I needed to forge my own way. And I stumbled across wholesaling, and the rest is history. So let's walk you through how I enacted my exact plan to transition from my full-time job into wholesaling real estate. So the first thing you need to do is you need to have a plan. And it's simply just a step-by-step procedure on what you're going to do. Because if you don't have a plan, you're probably going to wind up wing it. And the minute you have a bump in the road, you're going to deviate from your plan. I know this because that's how I started doing it. So once I wrote down my clear set plan, some call it goals, but you need a plan to do this because you have obligations with your family. If you have a mortgage, if you have a spouse, a significant other, you have kids, you have to be responsible. You've subscribed to the theory that a job's not going to get you where you need to go, and you want to do wholesaling full time. So we'll start with a plan. And the first step in your plan is you have to clearly define your why. If you don't have a clear vision of why you're going to do wholesaling real estate, it's very tough to get through a tough day, a tough week, even a tough month. My why was simply I wanted to spend as much time as I possibly could with my son and my daughter when I was raising them. I wanted to be able to go all their school events, their sporting events. I just wanted to be there because I learned with my parents, it goes by very fast. And I wanted to be much more present in the moment because I always got feedback from people that when you raise kids, it goes by very fast. So yes, we all want financial freedom, and I wanted to create cash flow to exceed my current income and really set my family up for a huge windfall. So my why was I wanted more time to spend with my family, my wife, my kids, and I wanted to be present in the moment, and I just wanted to enjoy it, and I wanted to create massive financial freedom. It's that simple, probably not word for word, but my why was we all love money, but I got to tell you, man, freedom of time is the ultimate gift that wholesaling will give you. Once you have your why, it's going to resonate through you, and it makes this process so much easier because whenever you have a challenge, you always focus on why you're doing this. You ever ask yourself, why am I doing this? Once you know your why, you're going to burn it in your brain. You're going to post it. If you have a whiteboard, here's a tip. If you have a mirror in your bathroom, you can don't take a Sharpie, take your erasable marker and write your why on your side of the mirror and look at it every day. You cannot avoid it. So we're going to start with a plan. We're going to start with your why. And basically, I'm going to walk you through 5 simple steps to this plan. So we don't need to complicate this. We are so guilty of complicating plans. So we have our why. So number 1, this is a big tip. And I see a lot of people who make this mistake is number 1, do not quit your 9-to-5 job. You're probably saying, what did Rick just say? I said, do not quit your 9-to-5 job. Remember, you need to have a plan to transition out of it. So this video is about transitioning from a full-time 9-to-5 job to wholesaling real estate. So you have to leave yourself room. So unless you have a huge financial backing and you can cover expenses for at least 1 year, I highly recommend you do not quit your daytime job. This will take the pressure off of you from making bad decisions, bad mistakes, because you're trying to force it to happen. So some people set 6 months, some people set a year. I personally set a year, and I accomplished it within 4 months. But I was targeting 6 months, best case scenario, and I exceeded it. And without writing it down, because I did have some tough times, I wouldn't have been able to see it all the way through. So what you need to do is do not go in there and like fire yourself from your job, quit. I want to get it to the point where you fire yourself, meaning it's better for you to leave your job than to stay there because you're killing it in wholesaling. So number one, do not quit your job. The reality is you're probably working 40, maybe 45 hours a week. Guys, there's a whole lot of more hours during the week. I don't know who came up with a 40-hour work week. It's absolutely terrible. Of that 40 hours, you probably spend about 10 to 15 hours of real productivity for the company you work for. What you can do is you can use that extra time. You can have 24 hours in a day. You only need 6, maybe 8 hours to sleep. Do the math. It's just a formula. That gives you 25 to 30 hours a week to work on your wholesaling business. Why you have income coming in. You should get excited for your why, and you have a plan, and you don't create this ridiculous financial burden on your family and force you to make mistakes because you feel like you're stuck. So number one, don't quit your job. Number two, you need to create cash flow that exceeds your current income. Let me repeat that. In wholesaling and real estate, you need to get to the point where your cash flow exceeds your current income. If you're taking home, say, $3,000 a month at your current job, and you can calculate this before tax, after tax. I like to do after tax. You need to create equivalent, if not more, in wholesaling before you even consider firing yourself from your job. That's the fun part, because if you're netting like $3,000 a month and that covered your bills, and you can step up and make 5 or 10 grand a month in wholesaling, that's when you know you're on to something. The key is you have to do it consistently, in my opinion, for at least 6 months. So number two, we need to exceed your current cash flow by utilizing wholesaling real estate. When your wholesaling income exceeds your 9-to-5 income, it's much easier to leave because your 9-to-5 is going to cost you money if you stay there. And that's the decision I made. And once I set that in step number 3, everything made sense. Step number 3 is you need to set a goal to fire yourself. So as I said, I set a year. If you want to set 6 months, I hate using the word realistic. Set a plan that you think you can actually do. So if you target a year and you get it done earlier, great. Number 3, we are going to set the goal date to fire ourselves. Number 4, which you need to consider when you're doing this, we need you to build cash reserves in your plan. What do you mean by that? If you can go at least 3 or 6 months and do that consistent cash flow that exceeds your current 9-to-5 job, you need to build up reserves, because when you own a business and you work in it, if you've ever had the experience, not every month is going to be the same. Some months blow it out of the water, and some months you wonder why you're even doing the job. So we need to build reserves for like a lean month, some sort of financial crisis in the government, terrorist attacks, all sorts of stuff. We need to build reserves. This is how businesses operate. I recommend having at least 6 months of expenses covered, set aside minimum, ideally a year, but you cannot leave your job till you have at least a minimum of 6 months set aside. And talk this over with your significant other, your spouse, whoever it is, and you guys agree on a number. It will take a lot of stress off of this decision for you. So at number 4, set your cash reserves a minimum of 6 to 12 months before you leave your job. So the idea is, you see where I'm coming up with this 1-year target date. And guys, by the way, it's fun going into work knowing you're going to be leaving at any moment. And number 5, and this is critical, you have to share your plan with your family. Get them involved. Tell them what you're doing. The last thing you want to do is create fear and anxiety in your family, because a lot of people translate doing wholesaling real estate full-time or even working for yourself as scary. Well, you know what's scary to me? Working to build somebody else's dream that at any minute they can fire you or end it at a snap of a decision. That's horrifying to me. So I know you have the mindset of abundance and you want more for your family, and this is why you're watching this video. So communicate it to it. Get your kids involved. Let them know what you're doing. Have fun with it. But you can't keep this plan to yourself. And I made that mistake at first. And once I involved my family, it just made sense, because your kids are going to ask questions, especially when they're young. They're like, what's daddy doing? Why is he doing this? I used to ask me all these questions. And really, I'm doing it for them and our family. So share your plan, get them involved. Guys, you can have so much fun doing this. But I see so many people just, they get a deal or two and they quit their job. And then that's when the pressure will just hit you like an avalanche. And I don't want to happen to any of you. Let's review the plan real quick. We need to come up with a plan if we leave our job, and it has to have a singular focus on your why. Why are you doing this? Is it financial freedom? Is it more time with your family? Just define it. There's no wrong answer. Just make sure it resonates with you. And then we walk through the 5 rules. This number 1, do not quit your job first. Number 2, create cash flow that exceeds your current income. Number 3, set a goal date, a fire date for you, at least 6 to 12 months. And number 4, keep in mind when you set that date, you need to build cash reserves for your cash flow. I recommend a minimum 6 months to 12 months. It's all dependent on your current financial needs and your family. Keep that in mind. And number 5, share this plan with your family. Get them involved. Get your significant other involved. Have fun with it. And talk about it. Because I can tell you how many times my wife says, hey, this is so scary. You're going to leave that paycheck and that job. And when I told her, I'm more scared of just killing myself sitting at a cubicle 10 to 12 hours a day trying to grow somebody else's dream and knowing they can make us move. By the way, I moved 5 times for my company and I just got sick of it. And that's actually one of the reasons I got so excited about real estate. Create a vision and a plan with your family that involves everyone. And guys, have fun with this transition. It doesn't have to be scary. What's scary is when you quit your job because you did a deal or two and then you're trying to figure out how to make it work. That is a recipe for disasters. Guys, listen, if you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this from me and Zach, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, tell me what you think. Tell me your plan to leave your job to do wholesaling real estate full time. Do you have any thoughts? Like, tell me how you did it if you've been through this experience, or tell me what your greatest fear in doing this. Because I tell you, the day you fire yourself the job is, I will never forget the day I fired myself and I walked to my boss's office and I told him, just the look of utter shock on his face. It was priceless. I did it with class and I don't regret the decision to this day because it lets me talk to you guys. So guys, let's transition from your 9-to-5 job to doing wholesaling real estate full time. You can do it. You have the power to do it. I appreciate you guys watching the video and I'll see you in the next one.